Hello and welcome back to the third episode of From Start to CEO. In this episode, I speak to Gina Dallison about her sort of different experiences with life in general, to be honest, and the fact she is now a life coach and entrepreneur. She sort of transitioned from being in a corporate background and being quite frustrated with it, and now she's moved on to coaching and doing her own business, and it is truly inspiring. In this episode, we touch on a unique mission, which is to change the way people perceive illness. And something she's doing at the minute is she's creating these personalised self-awareness programs for people with long-term health challenges. So if that's something you'd be interested in, I will be leaving her sort of all her information in the description below. So please get in touch with her. And ultimately in this episode, we sort of emphasise the importance of staying positive, having the right mindset and being resilient even through all different health related issues. Yes, I'm really looking forward to you listening into our conversation in this episode, because it has been just opening my mind to a range of different things. And yeah, let's get into it. So hi, Gina, thank you again for coming on. Just how we usually start these episodes is really speaking about your story. So it'd be great to hear about where you came from in business and what is your story of why you started your business, really.
I started in business really because I'd had enough in the corporate world, what I considered to be extremely poor leadership. And after being 20 years really being unhappy in work and three very different, not necessarily different jobs, but different industries and the same experience with poor management.
Yeah.
And
What were those industries that you were in before?
so I was in recruitment, I was in retail distribution,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in the railway. So very
Okay.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. Industries. Do you think there's anything? So the way where I'm starting my business, so I've just come from university and I'm in university at the minute finishing off, and uni has sort of helped me with the structure pushing towards setting up my own business. So I'd rather done it the opposite way rather than going in industry and then going into business. I've sort of started with business and then I might go into industry in the future. Do you think being in industry has helped you in business, or your sort of entrepreneurial mindset almost, or anything surrounding that really?
I think everything you do in life are stepping stones to the next thing, really. Um, it definitely my experience in the corporate world definitely showed me how not to lead,
Mm-hmm.
how poor management, and how just frustrating that is for the people, the workers actually doing the job, and that's frustrating.
Yeah.
So I was just keen then to I was done basically with moaning about my managers.
Yeah.
At my worst point, I think I must have spent probably 95% of my time in the workplace moaning.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not a good place.
That
That's
was
not.
just like a key thing. You were like, right, I need to almost just get out of this. I'm not enjoying it really.
Well, it was. I think the push that came to the shove in the end was when my boss got the sack, and I didn't have the opportunity to apply for his job
Mm.
because the leaders weren't following their own procedures and had already got somebody in for the role, and that was it. I was thinking, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah. Did you, has leadership always been something that you've sort of felt the desire to have? Did it come from, is there anything it stemmed from really, or has it always been a desire that you had to sort of lead groups or situation or do your own business thing?
No, quite the opposite, really. I'd always shied away from management. Thinking I wasn't good enough. That old adage that a lot of people live with,
Yeah.
and then recognizing time and time again, I what I could see, it just seemed so obvious to me. You just talk to your people.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
So this was more about stepping up and saying, right, stop moaning, put your money where your mouth is, get out and give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I would like to say I've never looked back, but
Yeah. It is,
it's
yeah. It is different, isn't it? Because obviously I'm still quite new to this whole business journey, and I've worked for businesses before, and I still work for like do well the business, the marketing agency I do freelance for is almost like a job that I'm doing at the minute just to get some income in. And I think the thing I find is that is such you get um, such a different. I guess like. I don't know the word for it, to be honest. It's like enthusiasm almost. I get so much more excited about the projects I do, and being able to manage and have that almost control rather than almost putting it to someone else. Do you know what I mean?
Well, and also, yeah, because they come from here, don't they? They come
Yeah.
from here, and it's something that you want to do.
Mm.
And diving into the entrepreneurial world, I mean, when I decided to go into it, I didn't just dip my toes in the water. I might have dipped them in a little bit over. I was a childminder for a little while, and I did a little bit of home helping at one point or other. But when I then thought, no, I'm done with corporate, and I wanted to be a coach. That's what I do. I'm a life coach. I just dived into this entrepreneurial world without I didn't really have a clue
Yeah.
what it
Yeah.
involved. It's not enough to be a good coach or to
Yeah.
be a good graphic designer or to be a good whatever it is that you do. You've then got to be a marketeer, you've then got to be an IT expert, you've got to be your accountant, you've got to be all the other things that you get protected from in the corporate world, definitely.
100%. Yeah, because you almost learn, as you say, it's balancing all these different plates and taking up all these different roles. And I think jumping in is something that I almost did as well because I was again working for 2 years, building my skills for this marketing agency, and then it's really over the past 4 months where I've sort of delved head first. I remember something you said when we previously talked was something it's like jumping into a pool almost. And then yeah, it's like splashing about and then finding a way to
And then
swim.
realising it's really cold and quite dark
Yeah,
in here, and yeah, you can't. But what I've also did, or certainly it's been my experience, that other people who have got their own businesses, small business owners and entrepreneurs, have just been incredibly generous and with their not only with their time but also with their advice, and because nobody just, I don't think anybody just starts business and has this solid upward line to success.
no,
It's and even the people that are doing well in business, as in financially successful, have still got challenges that
yeah.
they're dealing with every day.
Do you think having people around you and that support has been really fundamental into where you are today?
Definitely. When I first started on my journey, I went to a couple of local ladies networking groups, and while I
Yeah,
never got any business from any of them, they were definitely a supportive. They were supportive in my journey, and like I said, everyone, even when I did my competitor research and reach out to competitors, maybe it's the coaching world as well. We tend to be, we tend to be kind and compassionate, and yeah, want to give back. But
yeah.
that's my experience.
Linking into the coaching, it'd be great to speak about fundamentally what it is you do at the minute. So, would you be able to sort of speak briefly about what you do in terms of coaching? Is there something specific? I know there's something specific you do with it, so it'd be great to sort of speak about that.
Yes, thank you. So I help people with long-term illnesses that have been deemed as incurable, because that's been my journey myself. So when I came out of corporate, I was experiencing I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which is an autoimmune condition that affects it affects the myelin, and the myelin sheath is the protective coating of your nerves. So if you imagine your nerves are a bit like a wire, it's the casing on the wire that gets damaged, which means that people can experience very different types of symptoms, from chronic pain to extreme fatigue to mobility issues to sight issues. And and when I was leaving corporate, I was experiencing an MS flare up. So the type of MS that I was diagnosed with, you sort of have flare ups and things get worse, and then the myelin sort of repairs itself and it gets better for a bit, and then over the course of time, the repair gets less and less, and you tend to get it's seen as a progressive disease. But So at the moment, I'm very challenged with my walking. I'm quite reliant on a mobility scooter for getting any distances, and yeah, can't walk very well,
Yeah.
which means this space is really helpful to me because I don't have to walk when I'm on Zoom
Yeah.
or on the yeah, on online. So I help people really that have got long-term illnesses, but have also still got an ambition inside of them. Because getting diagnosed with something that you're told you've got to live with for the rest of your life feels like doors are shutting around. It's a very scary place to be.
Mm.
And our doctors, they might be good for a broken leg or giving you some antibiotics for an infection, but
Yeah.
for long-term chronic illnesses, they haven't really got a clue.
Yeah.
And the only thing that you're offered is long-term medication, which then leads to side effects and so forth and so forth. So I support people who are on a similar journey to me to
Hmm.
find actually maybe illness doesn't have to be such a bad thing. Maybe it's forcing us to stop, to really assess what's going on in our world, because a lot of the time, especially now, the world's getting faster and faster and there's more and more information coming our way, and we're all on this treadmill of yeah, go go go, get. And I think that's partly why there's more and more ill people living with long-term illnesses. So this is an opportunity to slow down, to
Yeah.
assess what's going on. So I guide my clients through a series of tools really that I've created that enable them to look at their life in all different areas, their mind, their body, their spirit, or their relationships, their environment, everything,
Yeah.
because so much more is affecting our health than we're led to believe. It's
Mm.
not something that's outside of us, it's
Yeah.
something that's
With,
inside.
yeah. And that's great that you can use your experiences with what you've dealt with and actually be able to support others as well. I think that's something from a conversation we had before that struck out to me is actually not viewing it as a disability almost and not letting it hold you back and more sort of now that has happened dealing with the situation and moving forward, and I think that's something that's really inspiring, to be honest. How sort of how does it work? So is it more personal coaching then rather than professional?
Well, I suppose it depends on the person, really. I mean, a lot of the my clients that I'm currently working with, their ambition inside of them might be it's been creative. It's a creative place. So I'm working with artists, and I'm working with somebody who's writing a book, and but then I'm also working with somebody who's changed business. He's been a business owner, a successful building business, and now been diagnosed with MS. So that doesn't warrant going out there and
Yeah.
doing the building. But actually, when he stopped and thought about it, he'd lost his love for the building anyway.
Hmm.
So actually now he's transitioned and is now working with his partner, and they're working in aesthetics. So he's gone from building to actually helping people with he's injecting Botox and stuff like that, which seems
Quite a
like a well
yeah.
you think so, but there's a lot of transferable skills because you're dealing with customers every day. Actually, he's still using tools; they're just a different type of tool. And he said when he deals with his clients now, they go away happy. Whereas a lot of people in the building, they're always picking faults and they're trying to look for something wrong and all the rest of it. So actually, when you actually look at what forces you to change, it can feel really bad in the moment. None of us want to change, really. And especially if we're forced to do it by something outside of us. But actually, if you accept allow that change to come in, and that's part of
Yeah.
the process that I take people through, and start, okay, well, if this isn't my path, then what is?
What
What
is
is? And
how?
there will be one.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. How do people find you? So is it a lot through people you've met or word of mouth referrals? How do people actually find you to work with you?
Well, I'm on social media a lot. I'm on Facebook a lot. I've got a Facebook group called the Healing Vibrations Network that is free to join if you want to come along and check that out. And I share every day in there a process that I go through to help your central nervous system stay calm and relaxed and feel safe. And I'm also on LinkedIn. I've got a YouTube channel. Yeah, and I'm also quite active in my local community. So I live in Rugby, Warwickshire in the UK. So
Yeah.
you'll find me
That's,
here.
do you think about like is a lot of it about your so again this ties really nicely into your business because it is can like sort of coaching and helping people, and I feel like a lot of that space is about the sense of community and the people you bring together. So would you say a lot of the work that comes in is through building this community almost around your business?
Well, this is what I'm hoping to achieve going forward. So I've been working on people with people one on one, but I think there's something really powerful with when people come together who are on a similar journey. It almost feels like we're all out in the jungle trying to bash our way through the jungle, but actually if we come together, we can journeying together's more fun anyway. So I'm now bringing together a community of people who are on a similar journey, so we can connect in and help each other stay buoyant when we're feeling low. Helping each other, supporting each other, but also learning from each other because you'll know from the entrepreneurial world as well that it's all about the mistakes you made. That's where you learn most. But
Yeah,
it's it's
100%.
it's it's nice to learn from other people's mistakes as well. So maybe you haven't got to go through all of them yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's nice having people around you as well, isn't it? And that's something where this podcast is the whole idea and the premise, I guess, is around having those conversations that you'd usually have with people in your network who have done it before. And sometimes a lot of people, especially young entrepreneurs who are getting started just coming out of education, they don't tend to have those business people around you. So building
No,
those communities is like it's so key because not only does it help you, but you can then help support other people.
yeah, absolutely. I think, and even when I was later in life starting a business, nobody else really in my network had were running their own businesses.
Yeah,
So it's a step into well, it is like you said, it's like jumping into that pool and then realizing, oh gosh, we've got to swim in this,
yeah,
and there's no lifeguard. It's
no.
all on you. It's yeah,
How,
which is a
how
bit
long do
scary.
you say that you've been sort of? How long have you like? When did you establish this coaching business?
Gosh, it was about 2000. I think I registered with HMRC in 2018.
Hmm.
So quite a while. And I
Yeah,
would like to say it's been a steady slope upwards, but that would be an absolute lie. But what I can say is that it's brought out in me. I think part of it I've muddled or not muddled. That's probably a not very good word. I've combined my healing journey with my entrepreneurial journey. And
yeah,
anybody that's gone on an entrepreneurial journey, you will know. And anybody that's gone on a healing journey will also know that actually they're not for the faint-hearted. And I've
mm,
decided to merge mine together,
yeah.
um, which yeah has been extremely challenging.
Journey.
But I've discovered inside of me a determination and a grit that I didn't. If you'd spoken to me 8, 9 years ago, I would have said, "Oh no, I haven't got the determination to do that. I haven't got the motivation to get up every day and just keep going, even when things aren't going your way." But
Yeah.
here I am, still going, not giving
And
up.
that's something. I think that's something like entrepreneurship and starting your own business is even outside just the business. It's all the extra things you pick up and almost like the life skills. And entrepreneurship to me is more than just starting your own business. It's almost that mindset that you develop over time, where I think you can get it whilst working for other people, but it's only really until you work for yourself and you think about stuff differently, think how you can grow. You understand these different entrepreneurial concepts almost, I guess, and it can help with so many different areas in life. Like I've found it with my motivation and my willingness to learn and all these different things like my communication skills, which have all stemmed from me literally just starting to do websites. And it's like that's the almost the key thing, because say everything for me, for example, say everything tomorrow suddenly dropped off and I had to go into almost the real world and get a job, go into industry, like move somewhere, get like a full time job. It's those key skills you develop over time, which are so useful.
Definitely, I think they're so transferable. If I ever went into corporate again, I'd definitely go in as a different person this time.
Yeah,
I'd be a
yeah,
lot more assertive. I wouldn't take as much crap as I did
yeah,
before. Definitely
yeah,
not. Um, and I mean, the entrepreneurial journey is a personal one of personal growth, and like you say, you learn more about yourself as you go forward, and what's important to you.
yeah,
You know, what values are driving it, yeah, what is the essence that you want to get out into the world.
yeah. What do you think the most important thing for you with your business or your journey is? Is it helping people? Is that what drives you day to day?
There's definitely I think I'm because I'm very much in the middle of my healing journey. When I say that, I do believe that I can heal. I believe it's possible. I've spoken to enough people, like, you know, where our beliefs are, and but I'm still in the middle of it myself. I don't know which way, and I spend a lot of time in confusion, if I'm honest. But I'm called to share what I'm learning, and in order to inspire others to get out there and live anyway, because we can't necessarily wait till we're healed or we're rich or everything's going right before we live an amazing life. We're here now. This is the only time we've really got. So my aim is to inspire people to get out there, because there's so many people that get a diagnosis and then become the prognosis, if you like, because they're too scared to go out and they're scared of falling over, or they're worried what people will think if you're in a wheelchair rather than. And I
Yeah,
get it, because first time I walked with a walking stick, I felt sort of less than. So it, but I got over it because I just
yeah,
thought I still want to get out there. And the more I got out, the more I discovered that actually most people are really kind and nice.
yeah.
And yeah,
Is that's what I was going to ask actually, as you were saying that was, do you think actually the not just the sort of the role of moving forward, like being like, okay, I've got to do this so I can sort of step forward. Do you actually think the motion of moving forward and doing these day to day bits has helped a lot?
what you mean with my business?
Yeah, just sort of like so. Actually, rather than so, I'm trying to think how to word the question. To be honest, it's more the fact of keeping the wheels in motion has helped
So
move
sort
forward.
of getting out of bed every morning.
Yeah, yeah, more that side.
I think what the business is giving me, because there's so much to learn, and you'll know in marketing, doesn't matter how much you do, there's always more that you could be
Yeah,
doing.
yeah,
And I always meet such incredible people. Every time I connect with somebody else, there's a lot of networking involved, and I meet such wonderful people. It definitely gets me out of bed every morning. You know, in the
hmm
last, I don't know, 6 7 years since I've been on doing this thing, financially it's not giving me the abundance that I dream of, but it's definitely uncovering a purpose inside me that I didn't even know was there. And I feel just a little bit tearful saying that, which means I'm, yeah, that call that my truth thing when
yeah.
I sort of crack on something that
It shows
feels.
you on the right track though, as well. It shows you're passionate about it and you do care. Do you have any advice for people who were in the similar situation before you started your business in 2018? Do you have any advice for people who are thinking about maybe getting into entrepreneurship but scared to almost take that leap, jump into the pool?
You know, I thought about that. You know, if I could redo things, would I do them differently? Yes, I probably would, but then I don't know, because I think sometimes jumping in, it's like I do a bit of wild swimming as well, and
Yeah.
the best way to get in the water is to jump in, because if you creep in slowly, it gets cold and you get worried, and you think about it too much. And once we think about it too much, all that little negative chatter comes in and gives you all the wonderful reasons why it's such a bad idea. And all those reasons are valid, but actually just jumping in and going for it. The worst thing that can happen is that it it doesn't go the way you want it to go, but you will learn. You would definitely learn from it. And I follow the mantra: the only way to fail is to give up, and just keep going. And I keep learning every day. Every day I speak to new people. I do something different. I make a mistake. I have to make a decision. Decision making has been
Mm,
probably one of the most challenging things, both in my
yeah.
health and in my business. That suddenly I'm and yeah, I went from being, in a partnership to being a single parent. So suddenly the onus is, I can't blame anybody else anymore.
Yeah.
It's down to
It's
me.
it's
Yeah.
it's making the right decisions as well, because especially when you're in a business and when you're working for someone else, you're almost making decisions that impact a wider thing. But especially at the start and when it's just you, it's every decision you make has such a huge impact. So that's something I'm constantly thinking about: is am I making the right decisions? Should my time be spent? Because that's a whole nother sort of topic: is where am I spending my
Oh,
time?
yeah, yeah. Where to focus your
Yeah,
energy and time. And
mm,
we've only got so many hours in the day, and our
yeah,
to-do lists are always this long and getting longer. And
yeah.
um, yeah, and somehow the morning disappears, and here we are halfway through the afternoon, and it's like, whoa.
I know. So where's the day gone?
Yeah,
Honestly,
it's a bit
but
like that.
I'd like to sort of wrap up the episode almost just by speaking about your highs and lows, both professionally and personally. I think maybe starting off with the lows would be great. Is there, I know it's sometimes hard to speak about, but is there any particular low points maybe you've gone through your business, and anything I know we've spoken about the lessons you've learned from them. Is there anything that stands out that you've had a low point, but you've learned and it's pushed you a lot more forward now?
I've had a couple of low points where I felt like, oh my God, I'm never gonna, it's never gonna happen. I'm never gonna make any money of this. And I've attempted to get back into the corporate world, and every time that I've done that, which has been two or three, it's been a very definite no.
Yeah, yeah,
So so yeah, that, and I think it's the financial uncertainty. I think is probably the lowest, and but allowing yourself to get dragged down with that, because it's all a feeling at the end of the
yeah,
day.
yeah,
Money's there or not there. Money comes and goes really, and the more I can be easy with it,
yeah.
the less problem it is. The more I make it a problem, the more a problem it
Yeah,
is.
that's something I've found recently is with, because obviously at the minute I'm a student, so money's a bit tied to, and I'm working sort of support my tuition, and then also trying to start the business. So I found money's quite a hard point, and yeah, it's like it's it's almost I found when I put more pressure to myself in situations, I find it harder to get out of bed. I find it harder to do these tasks, and there's almost an aspect, I don't know where it comes from, but an aspect of letting go of the pressure on yourself that can be so helpful in driving forward.
Definitely, definitely. And there's a whole massive great there's loads of coaches out there that help you with your money mindset, because we have a lot of heavy energy around money, and it's a scary thing if you
It
allow it
is.
to be.
Yeah, that's something recently as well. I've been sort of knowing my value and understanding what prices I should be charging for my services. Because how I got into the space, I was like, oh, okay, well, I can charge, say, for example, £15 an hour, and to me that seems quite good for the stuff I'm just doing by myself, a nice bit of income. But now I've shifted them up higher and onto bigger projects, and actually understand the value that everything can bring. It's there's a certain level of just going for it, but it's also having that confidence to actually know the value you bring to businesses and to people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And also I think being my coach said to me this week actually, you need to be the certain one. You need to, because what I'm selling is a transformation. I'm not selling my time. I'm selling, how to go from here when you're feeling victim and you don't know what to do to here where you're getting up every morning. You've got, even if you literally haven't got a spring in your step, you feel like you've got a spring in your step. You're still able to do the hard stuff, and there's
Yeah,
a lot of hard stuff that needs doing, but
there is. But that's when
we're
you
all
can, yeah, yeah, 100%. But that's when you can, like, I feel like with the price, and I've been part of a workshop recently, the Thrive Tribe in Lincoln, and this was like a skills boot camp that lasted a few months, and something they get, the topic they get you talking around is your value, and that is something it's focused on, because it's more, when you think about price, I feel like you think about more stuff as products and not as outcomes, but especially service based businesses, which is what we're both in, is you more it's so much easier to charge for services when you understand the value you bring towards people.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it is, and it is, it is valuable stuff. It is.
What about the highs? Is there any sort of key highs you felt and you've been like, yeah, that's a massive win of?
Yeah, I think every time I see a client sort of shift, to from a place of fear to faith, really, that's the transformation that I give. We go from fear to faith, and little shifts and big shifts, that's always a win. And to be honest, the clients that I seem to be attracting, they are they are people that uplift me. So I don't come out of a client call feeling drained and exhausted. Quite the opposite. I feel uplifted and I feel like I've learned something about myself, but also been able to share something with them. So it's about sharing the insights from the challenges, I think. And when because I've had two different people say to me just from listening to my Facebook lives that actually it moved them from a place where they were feeling suicidal to actually, yeah, wanting to get
Yeah.
out of bed, and that is, yeah, you can't
What
really
what is
beat
it
that.
you do on the Facebook lives? Is it speaking directly towards like to people and having
Yeah,
those conversations?
I just get I do a Monday one on my profile, which is called Monday's Mindful Magical Moments, and we just get a little bit mindful, and I just talk about whatever comes up for me in the moment. And then in my group, the Healing Vibrations Network, I go on every day. I've got a little acronym, which I take people through, which is about enabling them to lift their vibrations, to feel better, to be grounded. And again, I just usually start talking and something comes out, and
Yeah.
I make sense of something that's gone on, which is usually quite helpful. So yeah, it's
Great.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Gina. I've really appreciated the conversation, and I'm sure people have key takeaways and values from it. I think the benefit of these conversations is really learning about a range of different people and their businesses, and learning through your story and different things you've dealt with your past. I think, yeah, really help people and inspire people to keep moving forward and get started. Really. So thank you for listening into this episode from start to CEO. I just want to like emphasize my appreciation for Gina's honesty throughout all of this, and her speaking about her story and the powerfulness of mindset and purpose and support it's been something that I've obviously done through a range of different things, but throughout all my different processes and throughout starting up, it's something which I always come back to as being really, really key and important. So if you would like to connect with Gina and learn more about what she does, please connect with her over LinkedIn. All the information as mentioned will be in the bio, so yeah, you can get in touch with her over there. And also, it'd be great if you could share this episode if it actually has resonated with you, because I think it's the whole sort of purpose of From Start to CEO is to get this message out about entrepreneurship not being such a scary thing, about actually relating to people and different experiences, and getting help from people who've been doing it for a while is so important. And honestly, sometimes you don't have those people in your community. So that's what we're trying to build here, a sort of online community where we can learn from different experiences as I learn from your perspective. if you could leave a review on Spotify, that would be really appreciated as well, as it does help us sort of push to different audiences and ultimately grow. So my name's Adam Waters, and thank you for listening, and we will see you on the next episode.